All right, we are live. We are live right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Kava podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Will. You guys already know who I am. I am the host of this show. I'm very excited today. We have one of our Polynesian sisters all the way from Sydney, Australia, all the way from the land of down under. But real quick before we start. Everybody out there watching this for the first time, if you're tuning in for the first time, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the love and support. Please show some love and support. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And of course, everybody out there that's been watching all my videos and showing me so much love and support. Thank you so much for all the love. It actually inspires me to keep doing this and keep going. Thank you for everybody, all the love, mad respect. And of course, as you're watching this show, please please drop a comment, share your thoughts, share your feedback. I would definitely love to hear feedback from everybody. But nevertheless, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back on the show. Very excited to hear one of my Polynesian sisters all the way from Sydney, Australia, and get a chance to hear her story. And I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you. I'm very grateful for the opportunity and for her to take the time to do this. But nevertheless, I'll let her introduce herself real quick. So go ahead. It's all you.
Hello, my name is Doveinah. I'm Samoan, Tongan from Sydney, Australia, and I'm 20 years old.
Boom! All right. I'm excited to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time. I'm excited to get a chance to listen to your life story. But I guess we'll get this started. The very first question I'm going to ask you is, how did you grow up?
I think growing up, it was because I'm the only girl in my family. It was it was different. The way like my parents treated me compared to my brothers was more like restricted, and they would like control what I was doing and like who I'd be spending time with and stuff like that. And I felt like I think like during that time when I was actually growing up, like I didn't really see a problem with it because I thought it was just normal, like like everyone. I feel like everyone went through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like growing up. I think it was like not being able to do stuff was probably harder because like I'd see like my brothers going out or like doing like stuff with their friends and like even school stuff. Like growing up in primary school, I was just like always confused, like like why am I so different and stuff like that. But they always have and still do have high expectations for me, even from a young age. And I felt like it was a lot of pressure on me, especially growing up.
Yeah.
But,
what kind of expectations they had for you?
I think because my family is really church orientated.
Yeah.
And seeing as my dad's parents are like pastors.
Yeah.
And they were just like they wanted to keep like this I felt like they wanted to keep like a good image of our family, so it was like everything had to be perfect. Yeah, especially with like the girls.
Yeah.
Like I see with the same things with my cousins as well. But I feel like it was just the girls. Their main focus were like the girls had to do this, and I just felt like I thought it was normal.
Yeah.
But then as I kept growing up and understanding more about what's going on, it just felt like I was being controlled with certain things.
So what are the things that you want to do that they necessarily don't want you to do, but you love to do?
I think because they let me play sport and stuff like that, but I think it was more like not so much the social stuff, but like what I like the stuff I wanted to study and
Yeah.
like my interests and my hobbies and stuff. But for them it was like, oh, you have to do this, and like everything was just revolved around like our family, church, and like there wasn't really time for us to like sit down and say, oh, can I try doing this, or stuff like that. And even like some of the stuff that I was studying in school, like it was more what they did in school, not so much like we didn't really get to sit down and be like, oh, what do you want to do, or like what do you want to like be when you grow up and stuff like that.
Have you talked to him? Maybe you haven't had the conversation with him?
I feel like we only started talking probably towards the end of last year when we were like forced into COVID restrictions and like we had to like deal with each other at home. I feel like that was like, yeah, because my parents are always either like working or busy with our grandparents, or like the time it was just full on. And especially growing up there, it wasn't just us in the one house. Like my mom's sisters were there and their kids were there. Like, yeah, we all grew up together, kind of thing.
So like I said, like so how did how did that conversation go? Like when you talked, like when you say you're on COVID, everybody's inside, and you said that now it kind of forced you guys to talk to each other. So how did that conversation go? Of when you wanted to speak to them about what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so I brought it up when we had like family talk during prayer time.
Yeah.
And it was really hard because at first they were just like, where's this coming from? Like, what's happening?
What did you bring up?
Pardon?
So what did you bring up? What did you bring up?
Oh, I just brought up like, because we have certain like rules and stuff, like for house rules, and like how it just applies to everything else that we want to do as well. So I just brought it up like how if we could like try something different, like this year is really, even though it's like restricted, I just thought maybe we could like not so much change some of the rules, but just talk about why they're there.
Well, what rules were you talking about? What rules?
So like we have like rules for like social. So like if we were to say if we like just wanted to like go see a movie or something, my parents would like have to come, or like just like hanging out with people in general.
Like
my
chaperones?
parents would
have to chaperone you? Your parents have to chaperone you, come with you?
Yeah, like they'd like be there like and just sit somewhere else, or even now like if I asked to go out, like my brother would have to come, or just like if I go out one day, like I couldn't really go out until like later, or just not go out at all. And just like and it's like some of the, I don't know how to explain it, but it was more like if it doesn't like have to do with like sport or church, like don't really talk about it, or like they just say like, oh, don't bother asking, stuff like that.
So if you're not, if whatever you ask to do outside of the house, if it's not related to church, or if it's not related to what they want, then they don't think it's important.
It's like don't bother.
So if you ask, hey, if you would have asked, hey, can I go to church and have more Sunday school or something, they would say yes.
Yeah.
but if you ask to go see a
And
movie, they'll be like no.
yeah, I feel like it's just like for me, like I started like um not so much lying, but like I started using that as like an
It's okay if you
excuse.
did. It's okay if you did.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I've done that. I told my parents I was gonna go somewhere else, but they ended up going.
Yeah, like
It's all
it
good.
started being like more of that, and it started like I felt like that's what made my relationship with them more distant. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
really just be like, oh hey, I'm going here with so and so. Like I had to be like, oh yeah, we're doing something for church, or yeah. So it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just harder. Met like I felt like they just created this wall that like I couldn't really talk to them even about other stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like they didn't have the time to talk about it.
Yeah. So I know, I know a lot of times, Polynesian girls, right? The parents just want you to stay home, right? And cook, clean, and
Yeah.
and, and babysit and watch the. And so I want to ask you, like, what do you think your parents want you to be? Like what kind of I mean, I'm sure you like your parents have told you like what you want, like what they expect out of you as a girl. So what do they like? I'm interested to hear like what kind of woman does your parent want you to be?
I feel like they just them like they tell us to like you know how like normal for parents or like a lot of them are just like, oh, put God first and like family, look after your family and stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like for them they try to like instill that in me
Yeah.
and like change my whole mindset to just looking after the family.
Yeah.
And yeah, like just trying to keep everyone together, stuff like that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but what do you want? Like what do you want to do?
For me, I think just more like I feel like I don't really know what like I have an idea of what I want to do, but like I haven't really thought about it because I was never really given a choice to pick. So I just like didn't really spend time on like trying to um like focus on my own actual individual goals. It was more like, oh, I have to do this for my family
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I've always wanted to do like I think just like traveling and like I wanted to study and like become a nurse, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
I don't know.
yeah. And you can't traveling and want to be a nurse. Okay. That's going to require you to leave the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so when you bought it so when you brought it up you said you brought it up in the family meeting, you guys had a family gathering, and I'm just interested to hear like when you brought it up and you wanted the rules to change a little bit, what did they, how was their response? Like, what did they say back? What did they say?
They didn't take it well. They shut it down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then they just, yeah, I think they just, like they just sat there and like just started to lecture me about my priorities and what they expect of me, like how I need to be here to help out at home or like look after the little ones
Yeah.
because my little cousins are here too,
Mm-hmm.
and just like the normal traditional Samoan stuff like looking after mom and dad and
Yeah.
listening and stuff like that. I feel like it's more of a like guilt trip. So if I do try to leave, they just like say stuff that would keep me at home.
Keep me out. Yeah, keep me out. Yeah, that happens a lot. Have you ever like talked besides talking to your parents? You ever? So you're the only girl, right?
Yeah.
You the youngest?
I'm the second eldest. So I
Second
have
older.
three brothers.
Okay.
Pardon?
Oh, you're the
Yeah.
second oldest. Oh, okay. All right. So, you ever talk to your older brother about it? Like, just how you feel to your older brother?
I try to, but he because he has a good relationship with mom and dad.
Yeah.
It's hard because I know like some stuff he's told them, so it's like, oh, okay.
I can't tell you
But I
no more.
think because he's allowed to do a lot of stuff, and I feel like they trust him and not me. But I don't, because I feel like because he is the oldest, he
Yeah.
should try to talk to them about the stuff at home. But I feel like for him, he only sees it as like him like being a guy and being allowed to do stuff. He doesn't see a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've tried to talk to him about some stuff, and he says like, oh, it's alright, but like never really acted upon it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Do you talk? Do you talk to your? I'm sure you have female cousins and female friends. They're probably going through the same thing. Like, do you guys talk to?
um yeah, I was really close with my other cousin for a while, and then she actually left home, so it was like harder to talk to her.
Yeah.
And because she left home, like my family cut that side off and like didn't really want anything to do with them, and they like cut off like our communication and stuff. But I do talk to her now and then about the stuff that goes on, like how it's still the same. But yeah, I think her solution was to just leave home.
Yeah.
And,
Okay. So you want to go into nursing. You want to travel the world. Um, and then it's kind of. I mean, I know you said like you had a discussion as a family. Um, have you ever tried to like talk to your parents? Not as a family, like on one, just
yeah,
you and them.
I tried that approach, and it has like worked sometimes. Like some days they ease off, but then I feel like when they like recollect their thoughts and come together and talk
Yeah.
just them two, like it's just they go back to being like full on, like no, you can't do this, and then just like back to square one again.
Yeah. Did they ever tell you why? Like they say, hey, don't do this, don't go out. But they ever like tell you why, or is it just like just don't do it?
I think they're just I'm not sure. I think it's just more like when I feel like there's more to them not letting us out. But for them, it's like, oh, you never know what's out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just more in their minds. It's they feel like it's not safe. Or yeah, mm. Never really thought about that. I never really asked. Yeah, why?
Yeah. So I mean, it's no, that's a common. I know that's a common thing that happens to a lot of Polynesian girls. Based on my discussion with my own friends and my own family members, and also the people that have been on my podcast before, just talk about their own life stories. So like, I feel like that can be a challenge. That everybody's watching. I know a lot of you guys watching right now probably can relate. Staying home. And I remember my own childhood, like all the girls stayed home, and then the guys, we just we stayed outside. But then like our elders didn't care what we did. We just did our thing. We just left the house, came back, what time we wanted, and then the girls had to always stay in the house. When I think about it, looking back now, like, I don't really. I mean, as when I was younger, I wasn't aware of it. All I knew was this is how things were, and then I never went to ask the girls and my sisters, like, hey, everything all right? I just never, we don't think about it when we're younger, but as we get older and we look back at it, and then I started having conversations with my sisters and talking to the girls. That's what all of them, they say, like, they want to go out too, and they want to experience it and have fun too. So for you, it's like, so I guess the hardest thing for you is trying to communicate that and talk to your parents, right?
Yeah, like I feel like because I'm like not in school, so it's just like working. I feel like it's like a cycle, like just work, stay home, do the stuff at home, then go back to work, and then church. But I feel like because the kids at my church, like they're going through the same things.
Yeah.
It's like we try to create like outings for church.
Yeah.
And so like I think we use that as an outlet as well. But then it's hard because like when I do get out, it's like, like they check up and call or like ask for photos and stuff like that. So it's like and I think everything is just like set within a time frame also. Like be home at this time, and then like even when I do, like if I come home, I still have like to do everything at home before like going to sleep and stuff like that. Yeah. And I feel like that's just like my brothers are so used to me doing everything, like no one really helps, and I feel like that's a problem as well. But I don't know, no one really sees that as a problem, which is I feel like that creates more of a problem. Like they just normalize girls doing everything. And
yeah.
Yeah,
the guys we're like the princess in the house.
Yes.
You guys like the workers. All right. So have you ever gone out before and then I guess you stayed later or didn't call back to your parents or something? Has it ever happened? Like,
yeah,
and how'd that go?
Not good. Never good. I did get in trouble, and then it's like, oh, don't ask again to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So then, like, you have to wait like a month or give it at least a month for them to just like get over it, and then like wait for a bit. I think it's just the timing when to ask and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Of course. Do you work? Do you work right now? Do you work?
Yeah, I'm working.
Okay. Do they keep track of you when you're at work?
Yeah, I work. Actually work with my mom. So.
Oh, so you with them the whole time.
Yeah.
So what about your friends? Are they allowed to come to the house? Or,
I didn't really have that much friends. I think in high school, I would only like be allowed to go to certain places if they met my family,
Mm-hmm.
and then if my I think most of my parents liked them or didn't like them determined whether I could hang out with them or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more just like just see them at school and then yeah, back home.
Okay. So besides, I know you say you wanted, I'm interested to hear. Besides, want to be a nurse and want to be a nurse and travel the world, like I'm interested to hear, like, what do you like to do? What do you like to do for fun? You know, um, what are the things you like to do when you are outside, when you have opportunity to go outside? What do you like to do? Yeah, I just want to hear, like, know about like
Mhm.
your wants and your needs, because I feel like sometimes, hopefully, a lot of people watching this, I think a lot of times, like, I think you said it best, we don't even get a chance as young Polynesians to express to our parents of what we want to do, right? And also just let you know, I mean, I understand it too. Like, I understand the culture. Like, I understand why our parents have the culture and the traditions they have. I know, sometimes, I know why they want our girls to stay inside, because they want to protect you guys. They don't want you guys to go out there and something happens to you. Also, they don't want anything happen to you guys. So I know that's why they're like, when it comes to brothers, your brothers, and they're very overprotective sometimes.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that aspect, but like you said, like, everybody has things they want to do, um, and of course, when it comes to growth, right? We all want to grow. Um, unless you're watching this and staying home and cooking and doing all the chores, and that makes you happy. If that's what makes you happy, hey, keep doing you, girl. If you love to stay home and you don't like to go outside, and you like to stay home and watch all the kids and do all the work, and that's something that gives you so much joy, and hey, all power to you, do your thing. But I feel like a lot of us, as in my experience, I feel like that uh, in order for us to fully grow, I believe God blesses all of us with purpose. We all have a purpose in this life that God has given us. We all have given gifts, and we all have our talents. And I feel like our purpose in life in this world is to be the person that not what our parents wants us to be, but God blesses us to be. Um, and it's up to us. Of course, it's up to us at the end of the day to recognize what that purpose is and actually put in the work. But I feel like in order for us to, fully grow and live the potential that we want to live and achieve, your dreams of traveling and being a great nurse one day. Hey, well, you never know. Like, what I have, maybe you're in the next top nurse in Australia. You don't ever, you never know, right? You just, maybe the head nurse in the hospital one day. It's possible. You could be that top nurse in Australia if you put in the work and stuff. So, but what I'm saying is, it's really, really hard to fulfill our true potential and do what we really want to do if we're not happy, right? Uh, and one of my favorite, I guess, my favorite quotes, everybody on Instagram, they get their favorite little quote they like to post. But one of my favorite quotes is like, uh, in order to be happy, you have to progress, right? Because if you can't progress, if you can't better your life, then it's really, really hard to be happy. So if somebody's at home right now, and they feel stuck at home, so it's really, really hard to better their life if they're stuck at home. So I'm just saying this to all the Polynesian parents that are listening right now, because at the end of the day, if all the parents are listening to this, like, I want to ask you, like, do you want the best for your kids, right? Do you want your kids to live a great life? Do you want your kids to be the best they can be? Do you want your kids to, live their full potential and live the purpose that God has for them? Um, and I just want every parent that's watching this, because I'm thank you so much for sharing what you shared so far, because I know a lot of girls are going through the same thing, right? A lot of Polynesian girls are getting thing, but I just want to, I just want to challenge all the parents right now that are listening to this. I understand the culture, all right? I understand why you want your daughters to stay home. You know, there's a lot of weirdos out there. I know a lot of you guys don't want your daughter to go get pregnant, and that's like, you know, that's like through every parent's, you know, that's why they want you to stay home. And I get that, right? But at the same time, like, I mean, there's I feel like this, you can have your boundaries, as you know, every family has a boundary, but at the end of the day, like, you can't be overprotective. I feel like, because as much as they want to protect you or protect any girl out there right now, at some point in time you're gonna leave the house.
Yeah.
All right, there will be a point of day that your daughter or your son is going to leave the nest and have their own life. And this is one of the main topics and discussions we always talk about, especially a lot of the people. I'm sure you've seen some of my podcasts. A lot of people on my podcast is like, especially the girls. You know, these are the things the girls always talk about. That because like they were sheltered too much, like they were sheltered too much from their parents. When they finally went to the real world, you know, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shoot, you know, once they got taste of that freedom, you know, that freedom and hitting real life and trying to figure out life on their own. Because, you know, as if you're very traditional, if you're a girl and a boy and you live in a traditional home, you already know how it is. Like, your parents decide everything for you. They decide what you wear. They decide what you do, where you go. You know, they literally do everything for you, and then you just gotta figure that out. But the thing is, like, once you go into real life, you know, for all the parents out there that's watching this, like, they're not gonna be there to hold their hand every single time, and they have to make their own decisions. So, but I just wanted to put out there that, as kids, like, you have to let them grow, and then you have to let them experience things and let them make their own decisions, but in a nice, healthy way. Like, you know, have some boundaries. But I want to ask you is, like, you know, often, like, you know, how do you, like, you know, because you can't go and do things that your brothers can, because you can't go outside, like do you feel like, how do you feel as far as, like, because I'm sure you want to grow, right? You want to be the best, like, but because of all these rules, like, do you feel like restricted? Like, do you feel like, I'm just asking, like, how do
Yeah.
you feel? How do you feel because all these rules is on you? Like, how do you feel? Like, really, really feel about it?
Yeah, I do. I feel restricted, and I just feel like I get like really self-conscious,
Yeah.
especially just like being at home. And like some days because sometimes like it would just be like my parents won't be home, they'd be at work, and like I feel like I don't really have anyone to talk to, and I just get like stuck in my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And then just like doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, oh, like, I know some days like I take it better than others, but I feel like it's like just draining.
Mm-hmm.
And especially before, I had an injury before
Mm-hmm.
from sport, and I had to have a knee operation, and I was just like, I couldn't really walk or like go anywhere.
Yeah.
But it was just like, even with that, like, I didn't really talk to anyone about my recovery, and like I just felt like I don't know, like I feel like I shut everyone out a lot, and it was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like even like the stuff that I have to do at home, like you can't really like tell your parents, oh, I don't want to do it. It's more like just doing it, but I feel like when you're doing it, it's like, oh, like doing it over and over again. I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's just like, oh, like I just feel like, why is it like this?
Yeah. No, but I mean, no, I know what you're saying. I know what you mean. So you mean like there's like all of us as kids, like, you know, sometimes we just had those days, right? We go through like our moments, you know, there's always the high, you know, life, you know, up and down, you know, so we have our high moments in life. But sometimes as kids, I can look back, like we have our low moments too. And it just sounds like, for me, just listening to what you said, like, you know, because there's not a lot of communication between you and your parents, and you know, they expect everything's on you to be as far as doing everything around the house. It can be lonely sometimes, I guess. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
That like you're doing everything on your own, because I'm sure you know, you just lead. I'm sure, like, you know, your brothers are doing their thing. Your parents are always working, and then everything's on you. And then there's some days you're just not feeling it, and then it just feels like, yeah, there's no.
Yeah, because like,
Yeah.
even when I do get like I get like that, and like I don't feel like doing anything, and then if I don't do anything, like I get in trouble. But I think it's just hard, like doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like what do you call it? I think it's just the pressure just gets too much.
Yeah.
And then trying to like juggle everything with like work and like other stuff. Like some days you just want to just like have time to yourself.
Yeah.
To do things.
Yes. Like, yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, even, you know, just thinking about my own life when I grew up, like, you know, when I went to, because like our parents let us guys do our own thing. You know, if we weren't feeling it, I could just disappear and get away from everybody, and nobody was saying anything. But I guess, like you said, like this, you have a lot of role and responsibility of chores to do in your house. So like, when you're going through something, I guess, you know, I guess what you're saying, like you're going through your like mental health stuff, right?
Yeah, like even like when I was in school as well, like there'd be stuff going on at school, but like they'd still expect me to be on top of everything at home.
Yeah.
Just like stuff like that. Like sometimes you just need to breathe, but they still expect you to keep everything in order, and it's just hard. Like you just had to like put your emotions aside to keep everyone else happy.
Yeah. Have you, if you don't mind, I wanted to ask this: have you ever like had a day where, like, you know, things were just like emotionally, like mentally, it was tough. It was like probably the lowest out of, and then, but of course you didn't tell nobody. You just
Yeah, I've had a lot of days like that.
yeah. Like, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with those, like when the pressure just gets too much and things just get really, really hard? Like how do you deal with it?
I think there's usually like two ways I deal with this. Either I'd cry to my little brother about it because he was only like 2 or 3. But like, yeah, I usually talk to him about stuff because he like doesn't really.
At least there's somebody you can talk to.
Yeah, like even though he doesn't say anything or he just like, yeah, like just having him there is good. Or I try to like focus on myself spiritually to lift me back up again. But that's always hard. But I do try to like pray and stuff like that. And, like
Yeah.
try not to go into like negative thoughts.
Okay. So you say is he going to school right now? Of course, it's like uni. You're going to like uni right now. Is that like uni or college? University? Is that university?
Yeah, university.
Yeah, because I know in I don't know if Australia, do you guys call it college or do you guys call it university in Australia?
We call it university, but we do have colleges here.
Oh, is it? Oh, what's it? Oh, is that difference? Is there a difference between university and college?
Colleges are usually like they have like year 11 and 12 kind of thing. Like it's not really after high school.
Yeah.
Or like they do have colleges, but I'm not really sure how they work because it's not common.
Yeah.
But it's usually just university.
Okay. I want to ask you. I know it took a while to get you on this podcast.
Yeah.
but I'm so happy you did it. I want to ask you is if there is parent, because you're talking about your life story right now, and you're going through a lot of stuff for yourself, and I'm very grateful for you to share your. You're still young, you still got your whole life ahead of you. So if you had a chance to say, I guess, speak to all the parents out there right now that's watching this, like who are like your parents, they're really strict to their daughters, just like you. And then what would you say? I guess what I was saying is, like, say if you had a chance to talk to your parents openly right now, openly, without holding anything back, what would you say? And of course, not only are you talking to your parents, but you're talking to all the parents right now that are very strict and not allowing their daughters, or even communicating with them of what they go through and how they really feel and what they want to do. So if you had a chance to talk to them all right now, and you can really say what you really want to say, just what would you say?
I'll just tell them to just listen to their kids. Like, I know it sounds like, oh, why is she saying that? But I don't mean it like that. It's more of a just to hear them out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though if they do or don't agree with it, just listen to what they have to say and try to see or understand what what, not so much what they're going through, but how they're dealing with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they don't really know what goes on inside their own kids' minds, and I feel like they just need more communication, and just to try to listen and talk to their kids more, interact with their kids more, instead of just, oh, do this, do that, and then not really talk to them unless you need them to do something.
Yeah.
But to actually ask them how they're feeling and how they're just check up on them normally and just to see if they're okay and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Is there a chance?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's very true. Like, you said, I think you said some very important things. Things I see that lacks within the culture and also the household. I think the biggest thing you said was communication, right? Because a lot of times, if you're a parent, if you're watching this, you understand that, and I understand, and like you said, we don't want to sound like you said, like, we don't want to sound like we're ungrateful. No, so what we understand, like, what happens. Some parents, you guys have to go out there, put in the work 2 jobs. Especially if you're a family that moved from the islands and moved to a new country, whether it's America, Australia, and you're trying to feed the family. I understand that, but a lot of times when I see it, because a lot of times parents, like, they never check on us, like, on a emotional level. To our parents' mind, as long as they have food on the table and have a place to sleep, they're good. As long as you have and if they don't see any physical pain, if they don't see any physical pain, then they're just assuming everything's good with you. I don't have to talk to you, but like you said, there's a lot of things that Polynesians go through, especially young kids, and they definitely want to say it to, express it or have a chance to have somebody to talk to them. But because they never do, then it's kind of gets tough. And a lot of parents like probably listen to this, but it might think it's like weak. Oh, you guys are weak-minded. I understand that, but you have to understand that the kids that you bring, raised in Australia or in America, that they don't grow up in the same way you did when you grew up in the islands, or if you just have that mindset of I'm a tough parent, like my kids should be tough too. But if that's the thing is like if somebody feels like you said it in your own words, like the pressure or the burden, and then of course you don't feel like we can voice how we feel, and we keep it all in, then that can cause a lot of feelings of unhappiness and doubt and insecurity for someone. And I just want all the parents out there to listen. This is something that goes on. You said it too. Like a lot of the parents don't really know what's going on with their kids.
Yeah.
All right. Like they think everything's okay because they're at home. They go to church, and then we go to church every Sunday. They're always home. Everything's good. But too many times within my own experience, I see a lot of kids. I have a lot of friends. If you look from the outside, everything looks good. They have a nice house. They live in a nice neighborhood. Their family, I see them. The family goes to church every single Sunday. From the outside, they look like the perfect, perfect family. So everything. So damn, you in your like if you look from the outside in, you think everything's good. But then some of these kids I know and friends I know, like I talk to them personally, and a lot of them are just like going through it and going through their own struggles, but nobody will ever know. So that's cool. So I just want to, I just wanted to share that with everybody, especially for all the parents, to start paying attention. I guess the main thing would be like start paying attention to the mental health and the well-being of your Polynesian kids, of your child. Because there's sometimes you just assume, but then there's a lot of kids going through it within themselves. I want to ask you, I know you said that, I think you mentioned before, but talk about traditions and everything, about some things you don't know why. But I want to ask you, like, what are some of the traditions, or like the Samoan traditions that's either as a family, either as a culture, or that they expect you to follow? To you, it doesn't, like, what are your thoughts? To you, it may not make sense to you why they have this tradition. I'm just interested to hear your perspective, your thoughts on that. So, I wanted to talk about that right now. Like, is there anything, certain traditions that you have to follow because that's part of the Samoan culture, but that's what it's the Samoan way. But you follow it, but in your mind you're like, why do I have to follow it? It doesn't make sense.
I think it's just more the girls like having to keep up like this image that everything, or that we're like really good. That it's not really good, but like trying to look good, like
Be like always look perfect all the time. Like not make mistakes. Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah, and then like they like remind us how we're like the face of the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never really like. Yeah. Always found that weird.
That you're the face, that everything's on you.
Yeah, like even if I do like one little thing, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
I
some
just
like?
felt
What
like
was?
that was
Go ahead.
huh.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I just felt like that was because they try to like tell us that even from like a young age, and um I feel like it just plays in your mind a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and like before you do stuff, you like double think, oh, like who's watching, just stuff like that.
Have you ever had a moment in your life that where you did something that you felt like that it was normal, or it was like nothing, there's nothing wrong with it, but then your mom told you or your dad told you like, no, that's absolutely like not a good look for you as the face, or you, as a bad image, but to you
I think
it's like you don't think it's a bad thing.
yeah, I think it was more just like some of the stuff sometimes that like I couldn't really wear, or like and like not like if my parents would like go somewhere, like I'd have to go with them and stuff like that, even to like church stuff or like family stuff, like just always being there,
Mm-hmm.
like looking, just like um, I think, I think just like being there and like being forced to know and like understand how things work and stuff like that.
What do you what do you mean, like when you force to understand what?
Just like a lot of like even the church stuff, because we go to a Samoan church as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they follow a lot of the Samoan customs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd have like a lot of they have a lot of like functions and stuff on, and usually like it's just the parents you go, but my parents would always like bring me along, and like I know like even when they do like pass away, they still want me to like carry on like the traditions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when I am older, I feel like I wouldn't really be as um, traditional.
Yeah.
Not so much traditional, but just not as like as they were
Yeah.
or as they are. Yeah,
I got you. I got you. You were doing it in your own way, pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah, you pretty much, yeah. So you pretty much, whatever you're going through right now, then you figure out a better way to do it when you have a family one day. Got you. Yeah. So so I guess that's a good like I guess that's a good perspective to hear for for everybody that's watching. Like a lot of times, as much as the culture stuff, as much as they want us to follow it, they have to realize that when a lot of kids, when they struggle, it's like they're gonna take whatever they learn, and and then whatever was good, you keep it. Whatever you in your mind was not good for you, and then that's gonna be what you're gonna go with when you as you get older in your life. If that makes sense, if that makes sense to everybody. Yeah. So uh, I know we talked about your goals in your life. What about I want to ask you, what about dating? Like how's that go for you? When it comes to
um,
dating, or I mean, or are you even allowed to date? I don't know, but how's how's that go for you? How's your experience with that?
um, I think that was hard because it was like no, like the answer was always no. But like so I do have a boyfriend now, but like
Is he a public boyfriend, or is it like a hidden boyfriend?
no, so they know. But it's like they know, but they don't want to know. It's like that.
Wait, what is that? We say that they know, but they don't want to know.
Yeah, like they know that we're together, but then they don't, because they support our relationship.
Oh, okay. So they don't want. Oh, they do they know the? Do they know him? Like, do they know who he is or the parents?
Yeah.
Your parents? Oh, okay, but they just don't want to ask you directly, I guess.
Yeah, they don't even want to talk about it, or like.
Have they ever talked? Have they ever brought it up to you? Like, hey, who's this guy? Who's this boyfriend? Have they ever talked to you about it? Or no.
Not so much like asked, but they just said like more so told me off, like, oh, now's not the time and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
they don't really want me to be in a relationship.
Yeah, but
yeah, I feel like,
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was hard as well, because like they restrict me. Like I don't really see him as much. It's more like, it's like.
It's supposed to social media. It's like a social media relationship.
Yeah, it feels like a long distance relationship, but he lives like 20 minutes away from me. Yeah.
And there's no way.
But he
Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
he understands like where my family comes from, so he's been patient, so it's all right.
Okay. If he you think he'll have a chance if you did it like the traditional way, like to come in and ask your dad personally and give him like 5 pigs or something?
I feel like even if he did all that, my dad would still say no.
Your dad probably still say no and still take all the pigs. Thank you for the pigs, though.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So like, yeah, I know that's that. I found that was funny that you live 20 minutes away, but it seems like a long distance relationship. All right. Yeah, I know it's we talked about your relationships, your dating. We talked about your career, your purpose. What you like to do. I know we talked about the family, and obviously we talked about your family and your culture. Hang in there. I'll just say hang in there. You live in a very traditional household with your family and your parents. And I know you do talk about, all the mental, you did talk about a little bit with your mental health and things you've gone through in your life. I guess, even not the purpose of this podcast, just kind of share your life story. Thank you for sharing your life story. But I want to ask you, I'm interested to hear, I know when I reached out to you for the first time, and it was probably, like you say, it was random. Reach out to the first time. But I want to ask you, like, what did you want to gain? I guess, what was your purpose? Why did you decide to join this podcast? To accept doing this? Like, I wanted to ask you personally.
I think just to like have someone to talk to who's open-minded about these things.
Yeah.
So, and also just to let other girls who are going through the same thing know that there's other girls going through it as well. They're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are the main reasons why.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you jumped on this podcast and you did it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining the show. And thank you for joining and sharing. And is there anything else you want to talk about? That's something I always want to ask every guest. Is there any topic you want to talk about that we can discuss right now? For me, it's open filter, but anything you see that happens a lot within the Samoan culture, but that you talk about all the time, your friends talk about all the time, but a lot of times people don't want to talk about it. And I want to give you that chance right now. Is there anything else you want to talk about? And we could just discuss it right now.
Not that I can think of that we already spoke about.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The one thing I always want to say, for every guest that's on the show, and I guess one thing I would say, for everybody that's watching this, and I guess this is more directed to the parents. Even though what you shared today, with your life story is like what is the experiences that I see a lot of girls go through, Polynesian girls go through, and I just hope. I feel like what you shared today is not only speaks to a lot of girls that are going through the same thing you're going through, but I think I feel like it speaks more to the parents so they can kind of, like you said, understand what their kids go through. Because I feel like a lot of the problems I see with a lot of my good friends and my good family members I love and care about, and the struggles they go through, is the lack of understanding between us and the parent. And because we know it's hard for us to talk to them, like you said, it's hard for us to communicate with them. A lot of times, most parents, they're stuck in their ways. They don't want to listen. They don't want to give it a chance. A lot of times, like you said, a lot of these kids end up dealing with this on their own. So I'm just glad that you had a chance to share your story today. And because you kind of gave them like a real a real understanding. I guess you give them a side of the story that they don't get to see or hear, because a lot of times our parents just live their life, but they don't really, like you said, check up on their kids to see what they're really going through and how they really feel. So I'm very thankful that you got the chance to share it. And for all the parents out there, I hope that by watching this, by listening to this, you get a glimpse of the things that our kid, that your kids go through and other kids go through. And for me, like I said, I just want to make sure that we can bring families together and have some kind of understanding where the parents are happy, the kids are happy, and everybody's growing, everybody's living their best life, and not feel, like you said, feel restricted or feel like all alone or they can't able to speak, because I feel like that's where a lot of the things, the problems we go through comes from. So thank you so much for sharing your life story. Thank you for your own experiences for yourself. And I'm glad I got a chance to connect with you. I just made another friend in Australia. So I want to ask you, I guess, to end off the podcast with everybody, I want to ask you is, I always ask every guest to share, I guess, some final thoughts, some words of wisdom, some positive message to everybody. So if you don't mind just sharing some kind of your final thoughts, a little positive message for everybody to hear before we kind of close off the podcast. And if you don't mind, take it away.
Sharing some.
Yeah, so like a little positive message. So if you want to share a little positive message, a little positive message to everybody before we end the podcast.
I think what all this, like, you had a favorite verse kind of thing. My favorite verse was, I have like a favorite verse too. That like God would never put us through something He knows we won't get through. Yep. So like whenever I'm like going through something and I'm like, oh, like why is this happening to me? I know that I'd get through it. Like and I just need to keep going.
All right. So don't quit. Keep going.
Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing it. It's absolutely true. Everybody, if you're watching this and if you're Polynesian man or woman, and if you're going through struggles, I believe that too. Everything happens for a reason, and God wouldn't put us in a situation that He doesn't feel like that we can overcome it. We just gotta have faith and believe in ourselves and keep pushing. So everybody out there is watching, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, and let me press stop, and I'll go back real quick. Give me 1 second.